Good day, good evening, good morning. Terry Lee Harrison here with Team Referral Network Virtual Chapters with another episode of Team Talk Live. And I have another extraordinary virtual team member to introduce you to. In fact, she's brand new to our community. Please help me welcome Theresa Lambert. Welcome, Theresa.
Hi, Terry Lee. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I just joined V-Team over the weekend tonight. I did. Amazing.
I love action takers, and just a couple weeks ago we had somebody who attended a meeting, joined 10 minutes later, and within like 24 hours had booked the live with me, booked an appointment with me. I mean, it's just fun. It's just fun. So way to come out of the gate and have people come to know you. That's awesome.
I love it. You have the opportunities, and it's all about connecting and expanding my network and connecting with more people. So I thought I might as well jump right in.
I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad you did. Well, let me introduce you more formally to Theresa, everybody. So Theresa Lambert is the best-selling author of Achieve with Grace, a guide to elegance and effectiveness in intense workplaces, a professional coach and a motivational speaker. Within her coaching practice, she specializes in helping high-achieving women succeed with more elegance and less struggle. So if you're ready to leave overwhelm and burnout behind, Theresa is your go-to coach to nourish yourself to the top. How many of us have worked and worked and worked to get where we are, and now we're feeling just a little bit, sometimes I use the word fried. Does anyone overwhelmed, fried, just burnout? Yes. So delighted that they have someone like yourself to help them.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's interesting. I think as a woman in business, I very much always felt that need to have to work incredibly hard to make it. And I had this whole mindset around, if you want to be successful, you have to work incredibly hard and you have to hustle and you have to show up. And, the 80-hour work weeks and the putting everything aside for my career was something that I believed to just be normal if you wanted to make it. And it worked for me. It worked really well for me. I became a general manager of a luxury boutique hotel at age 29, and then proceeded to build up the business to become one of the number one top properties in North America in Whistler, BC, one of the top ski resorts in North America, which was incredible. And so I had all this success. But truthfully, I fell into that trap of putting everything aside, making personal sacrifices, focusing my entire time on work. And ultimately, 3 years in, I burnt out. And, at the same time when it happened, and I'm sure maybe some of you can relate to that too, was that it seemed like it was a weakness. Like I was terrified that admitting that I was struggling, admitting that I was burned out, admitting that I was, tired, and I was forgetting things all the time. And I really wasn't in a good headspace to lead. Yet I told myself, if they find out, they'll tell me that I'm weak. It shows that I can't make it, that I can't cut it. And so you just put on a mask and you keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And yeah, it's just not a healthy pattern. So, I've been really feeling actually, in some way quite excited about the fact that in the recent year, especially 2020, I feel like burnout is being talked about a lot. And that is so important that we're normalizing it. And I also feel like we need to stop the burnout shaming and making people feel bad as if they're inferior or weak or they're doing something wrong when they're burning out. And so it's so great to see so many amazing conversations that are starting in 2020 around this topic. And, while that's not a good thing because we don't really want people burned out, it is because we're finally talking about it.
So important. And I love that hearing your authenticity of your journey, that you totally will get what your clients are going through, and that you can help them shift, and you come from that place of empathy and understanding and compassion because you had your own journey. So amazing. So I know that you have some simple steps for us today. So we're going to be talking about how to go from exhausted to thriving in 3 simple steps. So who's ready? Just 3 of them. Here we go. Tip number 1. I love this one. So gain self-awareness around your thoughts and words and how they contribute to your burnout. Tell us more about our thoughts and words.
Absolutely. I think that when it comes to burnout, so many people think, you're just exhausted and you're tired and you're zapped and, all these different words that we use for the same sort of thing. But and that maybe if you fix your nutrition and you move more and you meditate once a day, it'll go away. And what I've realized over the years as I was studying this and sort of being on my own recovery journey really was that there's so much mindset that plays into it. And we are constantly telling ourselves stories about our life, what we can or can't do. And it becomes quite obvious when you start to pay attention. And I write about that as well in my book that you mentioned, and I go into that in depth. But really, it's about paying attention. Like, just notice for a second, how often in a day do you share with someone that you're feeling tired? How often do you say, I'm busy? How often do you say, I'm stressed? And hi, I see a few people cluing in, right? So it's like starting to pay attention when we actually tell ourselves these things that we say things out loud. We don't even know that we're saying it. And the thing that I always like to remind myself and my clients is that is listening. And that someone's you. You are always listening. So whether you think I'm tired, whether you say I'm tired, whether you think I'm burned out, whether you say I'm burned out, it all contributes. And what happens is that all these things that we think and that we say, so our thoughts and our words, become mental cues for us to take action. So how this can show up is that we keep telling ourselves that we're exhausted and busy and we have too much on the go. Yet whenever someone drops in and asks us to do something for them, or asks us to attend yet another event, or sit on another board, or volunteer for another, event, we say yes. We say yes every time, because that is how our brain confirms that all the stuff you're telling yourself is reality. So our brain is wired in a way where we will constantly make sure that what we tell ourselves and what leaves our mouth, whether we realize it or not, gets reconfirmed in reality, and that's what's coming back to us. So the self-awareness piece is really also an invite for self-exploration and starting to pay attention to what are those things that come up for you, like all the time.
Amazing, amazing. So I was just counting like how many times people ask me how I'm doing and what I say to them, and oh yeah, okay, this is good, just good. See, I learned so much in talking to all of I'm one of the most learned people there is. Oh my goodness, this is great stuff. This is great stuff. Okay, so let's go to number 2. Take intentional action that's centered around your well-being. So tell us more about that. You mentioned some of these things before. Like, you're right. Like, previously, I would have always been like, well, I can drink more water. I need to do my yoga. I need to fix my nutrition. And maybe that's not all there is to it. But tell us more about this number 2, the intentional action.
Absolutely. Tara, I think we all know what we have to do. We just most often don't do it. So when it comes to taking intentional action in the second step, it's really about making a choice of how are you going to follow up and what choice are you going to make based on what you uncovered. So when you start to realize that you say yes to things you don't want to do, when you start to realize that you're constantly sharing how tired you are, and then do more things that make you tired, right? That's a deep awareness. When you bring that into the light, you have a choice. Do I want to go to this event, or do I want to go home and rest? Do I want to go for a 10K run, or do I want to go and do a gentle yoga class? Do I want to stay another 4 hours in the office, or do I want to go home right now? And that's where you start to build on these steps, and you really tune in to be like, oh, this is all the things I'm saying. This is all the stuff that I'm even sometimes sharing, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, but I have to, it's all those things we have 30 minutes, so I'm keeping it fairly high level. But that's when you have a choice, and that's where intentional action taking comes in. So what can you do if you would choose your well-being, if you would choose your health, if you would choose yourself and your sanity, right? And energy, what would that choice be for you? And then choose that every single time. And that's where action taking becomes intentional. Because so many of the things we do, like saying yes to these events we don't want to go to, or staying in the office extra long, or answering, 50 more emails before you finish up for the day, whatever that little voice in your head is that tells you, those are choices too. We just haven't gotten the awareness to know that they're choices. We just make an excuse like, oh, I have to. Or if, all those beliefs coming in, right? Like if I leave now, if I leave early, I might get fired, or I might lose my job, or like something bad will happen, right? So there's always deeper layers to everything that I, sort of bring up. And obviously a coaching conversation can really help draw some of those pieces out. But the intentional action around your well-being, gosh, it's been a long day. It's 7:30 for me. If I trip over my words, please forgive me. That is really where it becomes really juicy. And two things happen. A, you're going to start to feel really empowered when it comes to your choices, because you finally realize I have a choice, and that is huge. And secondly, you're going to start to see that, taking action that supports your well-being wasn't as difficult as you thought it was going to be. And that's huge.
That is so good. Do you know, I meet so many people now, and in our technology of our being able to expand our businesses. So just like today, you were networking with people from the UK, different areas of North America, right? And if we look at our time zones, there's so much opportunity to expand our business in places that we never would have. But what that also brings to it is that whole thing about, like, if you had a normal work day ever in the past, if that was like a normal shift, like I work the day shift or the afternoon, like what it does is, I will have some days when I'm on screen at 7 a.m. and today I was on screen at 7 a.m. and yet I'm speaking at an event at 10 p.m. tonight, my time. And I don't do those things all the time, but it's those choices and as you say, intentional action. And I will say, now I'm catching what I say, but I will say I closely guard my sleep. I closely guard, I will do some things late at night or in the middle of the night, but I don't do everything that I possibly could, because you know what, I wouldn't have any health. So I know I'm not in the only position, and I bet that more and more people that you're meeting that also have all these opportunities, successful people want to grow, they want to expand, they want to do the things. I'm sure that they know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it's so true. And a little hack that I can give you there as well is that, sometimes too, I think you just said it. You made a choice, right? You made a choice to show up early, and you made a choice to show up late. As we connect globally, those are some of the choices that we're going to have to consider, right? And then we can make them, and we can go all in, or we can be like, doesn't work for me, right? Like we have to figure that out. But what you can do to sort of counter offset some of those longer work days as well, and figuring out what that can look like for you, is to be like really mindful around when you do something for yourself. Like let's say you decide that you have a long work day, but you're going to take a break from 3 to 5, and to actually go and sort of think about, when I have that walk, when I take that break, how will that make me feel? Like, how would I feel? Will I feel relaxed? Will I feel rejuvenated? Will I feel nourished? And then really think about that particular feeling. And as you go and you finish that last email and you take that break, is to really tell yourself, okay, now it's time for nourishment. Now it's time to re-energize. And then as you're on that walk, really intentionally breathe. Really, again, there's that intentional action. Take it, second level, but you start to get more out of the activities that you do. And you can also bring that into your conversation. So when you connect with people globally, like me this morning, right? Connecting with these beautiful people from the UK. And I'm so excited to be part of the team across the pond. It feels awesome. And so I was really intentional about, how do I want to show up being really open to the idea of connecting with people that are far away. And, so you really get a different, like you get that extra layer out of everything that you do. And especially when it comes to your well-being, if you attach it to feeling and you're like, that walk is about feeling nourished, and you hold on to that, you will find that an hour later, you're like, woo, I'm ready to go.
Okay, I'm so glad I mentioned that to you, because yes, I am intentional about, if I am going to have a day like that, I totally take a break. But thank you for that, that additional, how I'm going to speak to myself, treat myself, focus on what I'm doing. That is awesome. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who needs to hear it, because there's a lot of, I don't want to call us crazy entrepreneurs, but the opportunities are there. And like, I will say to people from India, I'm sure you won't be at this event because it's 4:30 a.m. your time, and I'll be darned, my friends show up. And so I learned, don't say that to them, because they will, so, but so we all need to hear from you. We all need to hear from you of the best ways to take care of ourselves, to move forward. So speaking of, tip number 3 is, I think it's probably taking it a step further, right? Focus on prioritizing everything that gives you energy. Oh, that sounds beautiful. We're going to prioritize everything that gives us energy. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the right energy, if you show up, and especially now in this virtual world, right? Like showing up with the right energy, radiating your presence through a screen, let's face it, right? Very different than when we used to meet people in person and we talk to them and we could pick that up because you have that physical connection. Now we've lost that. So I feel like this is even more so important. It's really about tuning in and starting to, make a bit of a, call it like a energy diary, if you will. And you can do this in all areas of your life, whether it's your career, business, money, relationships, health, spirituality. I mean, add some more, but really start thinking in each of those areas, when I do what I do, does it give me energy or does it take away energy? Right? Like, I think money for a lot of people is a big energy drainer. But it's about thinking, right? Like when I invest money in myself, does that give me energy? Does it make me feel good? Or does it take away my energy, right? What purchases give me energy and which take away? And when you start to lay it out like that, and then the same thing with food, right? What foods do I eat that give me energy, and what foods make me want to go have a nap or finish up for the day, right? Like I totally get, like, that cake at 2:00 tastes delicious, and I've had many of those cakes and I love cake, if I may say. But what I realized was that, at the time when I was really burned out, that cake was just sugar because I needed something to get me going, or another coffee or another green tea, like whatever it is. And green tea isn't necessarily bad for you, but still has caffeine, right? So we end up making all these choices, and then 2 hours later we like plummet even more. So really tuning in, and then starting to have this little beautiful energy library, if you will, or toolbox, where you're like, okay, well, now I understand, right? I know when I do this, I feel energized. But when I do that, I feel like I want to have a nap. And you can do that as well when you think about making choices that impact, your business. Like, do I really want to go into that partnership with this person? Does that really feel good? Do I feel energized when I connect with them? Or do I want to run? Right? And if you want to run, that may just not be the right relationship for you at that point, or the right collaboration for you. And there is a collaboration and a business partnership out there that will energize you and that will sort of fuel that. And so I think that has become such a central part of everything that I do, that I'm so tuned into now, where even when you ask me, right, this UK group, and it's 8 a.m, and I'm very protective of my mornings. And I was sort of tuning in, right? And I was like, okay, well, it's 8 a.m, or there was a 4 p.m. And like, if I were to choose which time would make me feel more energized and more excited to show up for. And I was like, actually, 8 o'clock, because I'm more of a morning person. Like, even if I like my mornings and it's cozy, and now we're going into winter, so I sleep longer than I usually do in summertime. But that's how I make decisions. And when you make decisions like that, you choose to thrive, you choose energy every single time. And the more you do it, the more you're like, oh, this feels great, I'll do more of that, right? And so it's really about looking at, that abundance and all the energy you get to have, rather than all the stuff that you can't have. And that's a big shift for a lot of people, because we're often so focused on looking on what we don't have and what we don't want. And there's that beautiful saying, and it lost it right now who says it. It's a very famous person, but where attention goes, energy flows. And so when you pay attention to the things that give you energy, your energy flows there and it comes back. So you really start to turn the ship around when it comes to burnout and exhaustion and feeling tired all the time.
This is all so good. And so if you are like me, you have heard some things that Theresa said that that, oh my gosh, I get what she's talking about. You may know somebody in your life that has spoken those words to you about how exhausted they are, how stressed they are. These are the types of people that Theresa likes to meet. She works with successful women, entrepreneurs. And I'm so, it's when you call out the things like, I know all about the afternoon caffeine and and like, if there's one thing I know, like if I have gluten at lunch, who doesn't like a sandwich at lunch from time to time? But if I have it, I'm down for the count, and so it's just not the wisest choice ever for me, right? But yet sometimes, why do I do it, right? And I know I'm not the only one.
Oh, you're definitely not the only one.
Oh, no. So Theresa has an awesome program that she's going to tell you about, and I'm going to share the link to this. And whether this is something that the program is for you or not, I'm sure Theresa invites you to contact her, because she would love to do a one-on-one coaching session with you and get to know you better and explore how she can help you. She's a great networker, so I want to encourage you all to connect with her. So here is in the comments our information. So Theresa, tell us more about your upcoming program.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm super excited actually, because I've teamed up with a local certified nutritionist, Julie Pekarski. So I am actually collaborating on this upcoming training so that we cover the mindset and the nutrition and diet component in depth through this 6-week. And I would say it's a high-level lifestyle and nutrition mastermind for ambitious women that really feel zapped, exhausted, burnt out, tired, stressed, busy, maybe undernourished, and are really, really ready to turn that ship around and to thrive again, and to also get their confidence back, and also lose some of that stress weight. Because one of the things that happened to me as well throughout my burnout, at one point I had put on 20 pounds in just about 2 months because my health was completely out of whack. And that took another beating on my confidence and my way that I showed up. So this is really about, increasing your health, increasing your energy, but it's also increasing your impact as a leader and as a human on yourself and other people around you. And so I'm really thrilled. We just opened enrollment for this. So this is literally brand new. And we are offering the program for $888 for the entire 6-week mastermind, which is an incredible price for 2 of us to come in once a week over 6 weeks and literally give you the most incredible tools on how you can go from exhausted to thriving. And we have a special promotion right now as well, that we dropped the price by another $111. So it's $777. Oh my God, I can't talk anymore. 777. 777. I love that number. To come in and so it's just a little bit more than $100 a week. You get real support. So it's an incredible, the investment and the return on that investment is huge. I don't think you can really put a price tag on your health and your well-being and as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as moms, as wives, as friends, as sisters, brothers, whatever it is, right? We want to be able to show up for the people that we love in the way we want to. And when we're exhausted and when we're zapped out and when we keep pushing ourselves to the max, we just can't do that. And that return on investment, to get that back, to get your health back, your energy levels back, and to start to feel like you're enjoying what you're doing again, you're enjoying leading again, you're enjoying running your business again, like that to me is priceless. And I spent years studying this. So I am so excited that we're doing this program. And yeah, we've been talking about it for a while, and we finally said, let's do this. So it's here. And as you said as well, you know, whether this speaks to anyone here in V Team, or if you know somebody who that does speak to, this is my last call of the day, then, you know, do reach out. And I would love to connect one-on-one with, you know, any of you. Just send me a quick, you know, Facebook Messenger, or reach out on my Instagram. I'm on at Theresa Lambert Coaching if you hang out there. And then let's set up a time and connect.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. Well, Theresa, I've enjoyed our chat. The couple times now I have chatted with you, I've enjoyed our time together, and I'm just so delighted that you are in our world and that we're able to help connect you to the people who need to meet you. I know that you're going to add value to them, and I know there's a ton of other people that can help do the same for you. So what a delight. Wish you the best of luck with this program and all you do. And I will see you soon on screen, my friend.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate being here. Thanks, everyone.
Everybody, thank you. Have a great rest of your day or evening. Until next time.